Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. 3 weeks are in the books here in the NFL, so it's time for me to do my Week 3 power rankings. We'll hit the quarter poll next week, but before we do, let's get here to my weekly power rankings. At number 32, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They didn't move from last week. Another rough game for them at Seattle. We'll see if they can bounce back this week at home against Indianapolis and get their first win. At number 31, I have the Buccaneers. Again, unchanged from last week. Look, this team offensively, although they have some talent, can't seem to get anything done. And again, we'll see how they progress from here. But with all the external things going on with this team and the internal problems, at 31, I think is a good spot for them. At number 30, I have the Vikings. Look, I know they're not a terrible winless team, but there's a lot of teams here that you didn't think were going to be winless heading into the season that are. And I have them here. Just because they lost to another team I have near the bottom here in the Browns. At number 29, I have the Redskins. Look, the Redskins defense is the main reason why I have them 29. That even if RG3 was to turn it around, he's going to need to turn it around in a big way for them to start winning consistently when they have a defense that's led up nearly 1,500 yards so far in 3 games. At number 28 is probably the surprise team as far as where they fall here after 3 games, and that's the New York Giants. And, I have put them this low because of just what I perceive to be a lack of wanting to be there on Sunday. And who knows why that is. They now run the risk of moving to 0-4 if they lose a very losable game, let's face it, on the road this week in Kansas City. At number 27, I have the Steelers. Look, the Steelers played better than the score indicated, certainly against the Bears on Sunday night. This team still has a long way to go, though. They have 10 turnovers and 0 takeaways. When's the last time you've seen a stat like that, period? Never mind with a team like the Steelers, who's part of their legacy and their aura the last decade has been forcing those turnovers. At number 26, I have the Raiders. Again, they were outmatched last night, but every other game against the Broncos, but every other game they've been competitive. I like the flashes I see from this team, but still, nonetheless, at number 26. At number 25, I have the Browns, also at 1-2. I like this defensive unit. I will see if they can develop consistency on offense, especially since now Trent Richardson is elsewhere, obviously in Indianapolis now. How this offense progresses will determine where they move up or down on these rankings. At number 24, I have the Panthers. The Panthers with a resounding win this week at home versus the Giants. I think this is right where they should be. If they show a little bit more consistency, come out and play like gangbusters again in their next game, you could possibly see them move up the list as well. At number 23, I have the Bills at 1-2 as well. Bills, good win at home against the Panthers on week 2. Not such a good loss on the road against the Jets. The Jets commit 20 turnovers. But the Bills' injuries and their overall offensive performance really kept them back this week. So they're at number 23. At number 22, I have the Cardinals, also sitting at 1-2. I think they've been a very competitive 1-2, which is why I have them above some of the other teams here that have the same record. I like their offense's ability to move the ball, and I think their defense is better than you think. This is a team I think is going to surprise people when you look up at the end of the year and see what their record is. At number 21, I have the Rams. Look, the Rams beat the Cardinals. All right, which is why I have them a tick ahead of the Cardinals, but they've looked pretty bad in their last 2 games. Losing obviously to Atlanta on the road, and then last week again to the Cowboys on the road. You can see those 2 teams are in another league from the Rams certainly. But I think the talent's there. We'll see what they do Thursday night against the 49ers. At number 20, I have the Eagles. The Eagles, I think it's going to be pretty well consistent that they're going to score points. They're going to be exciting at times to watch on offense. How does that defense hold up? Are they able to limit turnovers on offense? 2 huge questions in Chip Kelly's first year. That's why they're at number 20. Right ahead of them, I have a team that beat them in week 2 in the Chargers. Look, the Chargers have lost 2 heartbreaking games. The first week against Houston, and obviously, in week 3 this week against Tennessee on a late touchdown pass. And they obviously have that win against Philly sandwiched in between. I think the San Diego's higher up on this list than probably most people thought coming into the year. But again, their defense getting stops in big spots Let's see if they can do that here in the coming weeks. At number 18, I have the Jets. The Jets at 2-1. They're my lowest ranked 2-1 team. Their wins, although their defense has looked good in all three games, their wins against the Buccaneers and the Bills are against two teams in the bottom third here of the rankings. And they now travel to Tennessee, which I think is going to be a big game. And coincidentally, that's who I have at number 17. I have the Titans. The Titans with two impressive wins. Steelers at the Steelers in week 1. This week at home against the Chargers in dramatic fashion. And, when you sandwich that a loss at Houston, which is definitely not anything to be ashamed about, that's why I have the Titans here at number 17. Number 16, I have the Lions. Look, the Lions to me are, this is like the first section I have of 2-1 teams in the Jets, the Titans, and the Lions. I think they're even a step back of some of the 1 and 2 teams, which I'll get to in a second that I haven't mentioned yet. But the Lions, look, they're going to be in every game. How mature are they, though, in certain spots? And how do they react when they play against a good offense here? We'll see in the coming weeks. Number 15, I have the Falcons. They might have had the biggest drop on my rankings this week. It's a tough game. Going into Miami is not easy now, but they fall to 1 and 2 here. And a 1 and 2 team to have them at 15, I think is pretty fair, especially given how they've played, which hasn't been that great. At number 14, I have the Packers. Look, I know a lot of other people have the Packers higher, but the fact remains they are 1 and 2. Yes, they did lose to 2. They played 3 playoff teams from last year to start off the season, going 1 and 2. Does that Mike McCarthy, Aaron Rodgers argument spawn itself into something bigger? I don't think so, but it bears watching here in the next couple weeks. At number 13, I have the Texans at 2-1. To me, they're not a very impressive 2-1. Their wins were against teams they should have beat, that they had to come from behind to do it, and they just, I think, looked terrible, quite frankly, this week on the road in Baltimore. And most notably, Matt Schaub needs to get more consistent. At number 12, I have the Cowboys. Look, the Cowboys looked dominant last week against the Rams, and although the Rams aren't a great team, you very seldomly see them get completely dominated. I mean, even the week before, the Rams fought back against the Falcons, but the Cowboys dominated them. I want to see the Cowboys do it on the road, and they'll have a chance this week at San Diego. Number 11, I have the 49ers. Again, they're a lot low. I have them a lot lower than other teams I have because I don't like the way they lost on Sunday. They got their own game taken to them. I don't know how this team's going to react to the Aldon Smith situation. I don't know how they're going to react to maybe Patrick Willis missing Thursday's game. My gut tells me, if you listen to my previews, I think they're going to come out of it this week and win definitely on the road in St. Louis. But we'll see. But for now, at 1 and 2, I have them at number 11. At number 10, I have the Ravens. Ravens are 2-1, yes. Their defense has only let up 15 points in their 2 straight wins. But I'd like to see a little bit more from the offense here to move them farther up. So I think number 10 is a good spot for them. At number 9, I have the Colts. Look, you add Trent Richardson, a viable, legit, to me, NFL bell cow running back. You go into San Francisco. You control the ball. You're physical. Your defense plays better than anyone thought. And you beat San Francisco on the road. Well, to me, that to me is a team that belongs to be in the top 10 at number 9. At number 8, I have the Bengals. The Bengals, another team that started the season off with a tougher schedule. I liked how they look. Did they catch a break on Sunday? Absolutely, with the fumble by Jonathan Franklin, no question about it. But they're 2-1. This is a team that definitely bears watching here as the season plays out. The one loss they did have was a tough loss on the road in Chicago, and I think we see how good Chicago is now. So I have the Bengals at number 8. At number 7, I have the Patriots. The Patriots are my lowest ranked undefeated team because, quite frankly, they haven't beat a good team yet. All 3 teams they've beat, the Bills, the Jets, and the Buccaneers, are in the lower half of these rankings and are teams that I don't think are playoff teams. So that's why I have the Patriots here at number 7. At number 6, I have the Chiefs. The Chiefs with what looks like a good win now at home against the Cowboys 2 weeks ago. They obviously took advantage on a short turnaround on the road in Philadelphia, and now get the Giants coming to Arrowhead this week, which I think is a very intriguing game. So the Chiefs at number 6, the Dolphins at number 5. Look, when you have 2 road wins, you back that up with a win at home coming from behind to beat a good Falcons team. To me, I think the Dolphins deserve to be here at number 5. I think they're playing well on both sides of the ball, and the growth we've seen in Ryan Tannehill can't be ignored. At number 4, I have the Bears. Look, the Bears, it's still, it's amazing. Lovie Smith leaves, but they still have this opportunistic defense that just spits out and produces points. It's pretty amazing when you think about it, the regularity at which they turn a team over and also score touchdowns off of that. I think you're seeing Cutler maturing. I think they're pretty obviously comfortable with the leadership of Mark Trestman, and look for this offense to get even better as they get more comfortable in it here. At number 3, I have the Saints. Look, the Saints, to me, are more here because of the player of their defense. I think we all expected their offense to be good and to be able to put up points. But with the way this defense is playing and how tough they should be to beat at home now, I think this number 3 position is well warranted. At number 2, my 2 and 1 are unchanged from last week. At number 2, I have the Seahawks. Seahawks are 3-0. Look, they haven't played the hardest schedule in the world, with Carolina. And in week 3, the Jaguars sandwich in between there, San Francisco. I think this is going to be a tougher game than people think on the road at Houston this week. And I think we'll get a good barometer, a better barometer of the Seahawks then. But with how stout that defense is and how good they've been playing, it's hard to have them out of the top 2 here. And at number 1, I have the Broncos. They go to 3-0 last night versus the Raiders. Look, no one's been able to even somewhat control that offense as of now. And until someone does, and until that defense shows some chinks in the armor, they've looked pretty good to me for a team that has lost Von Miller for the first part of the season and is also without Elvis Dumervil from last year. With that offense playing like it is, I think Denver's undoubtedly the number 1 team right now. Guys, those are my power rankings for week 3. 3 weeks are in the book. I've already started my week 4 previews. Be sure to check those out. Be sure to subscribe to my channel here, guys. I preview every game. I do my weekly power rankings, and I talk NFL and videos, news of the day, and opinion and analysis. So be sure to subscribe. Thanks again for listening, and enjoy week 4.